I'm kind of chopping at the bit now.
Right.
Let's go to Mark chapter 4 whilst we're there and begin reading at verse 10, sir. Mark 4 and verse 10. Whenever you're ready, officer, take a seat.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 10. And when he was alone, they that were about him with the 12 asked of him the parable.
Now notice, when they were alone, why did he choose to do it when they were alone? Because even the disciples understood that to represent him, certain things they needed to get from him privately. Because much of what we will read is not to the other people, only to Israel.
That's right.
So when we read this now, go on, sir, read the next verse.
Verse 11. And he said unto them, unto you it is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of Yahweh.
See, unto you is given to know the mystery of the kingdom of God. You're the one who's meant to know about Israel. Nobody else knows about Israel. It's a mystery that's been locked up in Yahweh. And he then brings it out only to you. You have the mystery of the kingdom. Why? Because you are the kingdom. Nobody knew that. Because Protestants are teaching that the kingdom is an actual place.
That's right.
The kingdom of heaven is us going into our place.
That's right.
But then when we read on further, read for me please.
But unto them that are without, all these things are done in parables.
See, it's done in parables because they can't get it. They're not supposed to get it. They're not supposed to get it. Read the next verse if you please.
Verse 12. That seeing they may see and not perceive.
See, they see it, but they can't perceive it. In other words, it can't get down into the corpuscle of their mind. It just won't resonate. Read, sir.
And hearing they may hear and not understand.
So they hear the word. They sit there on a Sunday getting this teaching, but no matter how many times they hear it over and over again, it's just not registering with their minds.
Right.
Read.
Lest at any time they should be converted.
What?
Lest at any time they should be converted.
They should be converted.
And their sins should be forgiven them.
In other words, they become aware of this hidden truth that's only for the children of Israel. Yasharallah.
Verse 13.
All right, we'll stop there. Let's go to Mark chapter 4 and 21 right now. Let's run to 21. All right. Go ahead,
Mark
sir.
chapter 4, verse 21. And he said unto them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed?
Now, notice this. Who buys a candle to hide it? Nobody. When you buy a candle because it serves a purpose.
That's right.
These days, a candle has a double use. One is for light, but the other now is for fragrance.
That's right.
Because now they have made the oil. And by the way, the fragrant oil candles existed back in Yahweh's time, just to make you know that. Because they made candles out of frankincense and myrrh. You see? They made it out of that back then. But today it's become commercial. They've only rediscovered it and brought it back in. And remember, it was done among our people.
That's right.
So, it says, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel? First of all, a bushel means to cover it up with a whole lot of bushes that can easily be set alight, or just to be covered over and camouflaged. And or under a bed is the question asked. And in other words, hidden away.
Right.
But then when we read on it says,
and not to be set on a candlestick.
So a candle is meant to be put on a candlestick, in other words, on something that will give it the ability to be displayed. Because when the light of the candle is lit, it's meant to give much light to the darkness of the room or the area that it's in.
That's right.
So when we look at that now, we begin to understand that it's speaking about a certain amount of anointing, knowledge, and personage.
That's right.
Personage being a person who is going to be there, bringing the light of the knowledge and bringing the anointing to do what? To wake up his people.
Yes.
So let's get some precepts to go with that. Hold on to where you are. Let's go to John chapter 8 and verse 12. 8 and 12.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 12. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world.
See? So he's the light of the world. Now, in order to understand this correctly, you have to know which world is it speaking of.
That's right.
Because there are those, I dare say, who will say, see, he said, I'm the light of the world. Notice it uses the word world here and not earth. Now, worlds, there are many worlds.
That's right.
We know this in Hebrews chapter 1 and 1. But it's speaking about a particular type of world. So he said, I am the light of the world, a particular world. But then it goes on to say, read,
he that followeth me shall not walk in darkness.
shall no longer walk in your ignorance. You will no longer be backward. You will no longer be out of the treasure. Read,
but shall have the light of life.
have the light of life. Making that crystal clear there. Hold that. In fact, don't hold that. Let's drop that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 60 and 1. Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 1. Go ahead, officer.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come.
See that? Read it again, sir.
Arise, shine, for thy light is come.
Arise and shine, for thy light has come. Now it's speaking about a particular light that's coming to a particular people.
That's right.
Read.
And the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee.
And the power of the Most High God has been risen or set upon me. So that's the powerful verse that we're reading there. In fact, hold where you are and go to Malachi chapter 4 and 2 real quick.
The book of Malachi, chapter 4, verse 2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise, with healing in his wings.
With what?
With healing in his wings.
Read.
And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall.
Right. So with that light will come healing. Healing to whom? Healing to Israel. Israel is going to get the healing. Nobody else but Israel. So he said, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord is risen upon thee. Making it very clear as to who it is risen on. It didn't say everybody.
That's right.
It used the word thee, meaning it's speaking of a particular group of people. Read.
Verse 2. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Most High shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee.
See, so he says, for behold, the darkness shall cover the earth. Now the question you must ask yourself, who is the darkness that's going to cover the earth?
That's right.
Who is the darkness? Who is the darkness? Come up closer. We're sitting all the way back there, so get up here.
Oh, praise.
All right. So who is the darkness?
Just said darkness was ignorance.
Yes, but
It says we the darkness really.
but darkness, and exactly symbolically, who is it referring to?
The hidden ones.
The sleepers.
For those who deceive. So, for behold, darkness shall come upon the earth. Now, who right now is deceiving the nations?
Edom.
Edom. Edom.
That's right.
So we see here, it says, for behold, darkness shall cover the earth. And it doesn't stop there. It says, gross darkness, even greater darkness. Now, what is affecting America right now? Gross darkness.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Malachi 4 and 2.
Malachi 4 and 2.
That's what we left off.
We read that just a moment ago. So, when we read that now, it says gross darkness, the people. Then it says, but the Lord shall do what?
Rise upon thee.
Rise upon thee. And what?
And his glory shall be seen upon thee.
Seen upon thee. Now, let's before we jump up again, let's read verse 3. Read.
Verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising.
So it says the Gentiles here shall come to thy light. Now we have to be clear now, because people are going to again assume that when they read the word Gentile, they think it's referring to everyone who is Gentile.
That's right.
So which Gentile is it speaking about, Brother Johnny?
I was going to ask you. I don't have it here. I can't with metaphor 4 and 2 and 3. I'm not reading.
No, we're not. You're listening to others, not to me,
No.
because Isaiah chapter 60 is where we are at.
Oh, I was back on Malachi.
All right. All right.
All right.
So let's read verse 3 again. 60 and 3.
Isaiah chapter 60, verse 3. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light.
Come to what?
To thy light.
Come to thy light. Who are the Gentiles who's coming to the light?
That's Israel. The house of Israel.
That's Israel,
Yes.
right? Why is it Israel?
Because they've been hid out there.
They have been living as what?
As a Gentile of foreign
As
land.
Gentiles in a foreign land.
That's right.
And so it says, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 6. Let's go hit that first, please.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to rise up the tribes of Jacob.
To do what?
To raise up the tribes of Jacob.
See, it's a light thing, not hard. It's a light thing because he's only concerned about those who are going to receive this light, receive this word. That's why you see we mustn't have a breakdown when you're trying to tell family members and they're not getting it.
That's right.
Imagine you're telling your family member and they say, well, you know, I'm hearing you, but I don't get it. Well, they can't get it because it wasn't for even them.
That's right.
But then you'll speak to another brother and you'll drop it one time or sister and they'll go, yep, all right, what do I do? And you're almost kind of astounded, you're shocked by the way that they've responded so well. It's because it's for them. They're the ones that the Most High has opened their ears to hear it. So the moment they hear it, they receive it. That's why don't get wrapped up with those who don't. And we all have family members and friends who you've been dropping it with them week in and week out and they're still not receiving it. Now, I'm not saying to you just to drop them to the wayside, but what I'm saying is that it could be the Most High does not want them to wake up to this truth. See that? So, when we read this now, it says, let's read again from the top.
Yes, sir. Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob.
Read.
And to restore and preserve of Israel.
See? And to restore, to bring back the what?
The preserved.
Preserved, because only a set group of Israel is preserved for this. Not everyone. Read.
I will also give thee for a light.
And I'll make you a light
to the Gentiles.
To the Gentiles. Read.
That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth.
See that?
That's right.
It's powerful.
Yes, it is.
So from there now let's jump to verse 23. Let's deal with the kings. Who are the kings that we were just reading about in Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 3. Let's read.
Isaiah chapter 49 verse 23. And kings shall be thy nursing fathers.
Read.
And their queens thy nursing mothers.
Read.
They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Most High God. For they shall not be ashamed that wait for me.
Now there are many who would read that and turn and say, oh well, that's only symbolic. It's not going to really happen. That's just a symbolism. No, it's really going to happen.
That's right.
The nations are going to bow to you, Israel, and they're going to lick the dust off your feet.
That's right.
And woe betide you, although you won't, if you turn around and say, oh, you don't have to do that. No, do it. And enjoy yourself whilst you're down there. All right. From there, let's go to Proverbs chapter 4 and verse 14.
Proverbs 4 and 14.
Proverbs chapter 4 and 14. Let's read.
The book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
See that? Enter not. Where?
Into the path of the wicked.
Don't enter into the path of the wicked. Don't go there. Read it again for me, sir.
Proverbs chapter 4 verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
So evil men have a way to live, to walk, to operate. And we are admonished that that's not the way that we should go.
That's right.
Enter not. Don't do what you see people are doing even on the job.
Right.
Don't do what your next door neighbor is doing, or seemingly a friend of yours. Don't do it. Because it tells you that you mustn't enter their path, and go not in the way of evil men. Jump to verse 17, please.
Verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness.
For they do what?
For they eat the bread of wickedness.
All right, jump back up to 14 and read it again.
Proverbs 4 and 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
Jump to 17.
Verse 17. For they eat the bread of wickedness.
See, for they eat the bread of wickedness. That's what they do. They consume wickedness on a day-to-day basis.
That's right.
And then when we read it, it says what?
And drink the wine of violence.
And they drink the wine of violence. They're violent.
That's right.
I mean, I still can't get it out of my head how that young black lad and that officer threw him up against his cruiser.
Yeah, I seen that thing. Yeah,
and getting ready to do more. And if it wasn't for those that were with him, who were white, by the way, saying, don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like he came to his senses. And one of them went up to him and hit him.
Yeah.
He didn't do nothing.
And he didn't do nothing. Can you imagine a black man walking up to him and hitting him and saying, don't do that?
Oh, that's his last name.
He would have been in the grave.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's read verse 18.
Verse 18. But the path of the just.
But the path of the just. Who are the just? The just shall live by faith.
That's right. is
Read.
as the shining light
Read.
that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
Shining more and more unto the perfect day. Read that one more time.
Verse 18. But the path of the just is as the shining light
Is as a shining light,
that shineth more and more unto the perfect day.
because they have understanding that leads them. Verse 19.
Verse 19. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble.
There it is. The way of the wicked is as darkness. Let's go back, if you please, to John chapter 8 and verse 12. John 8 and 12, please.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 12. Then spake Yahushua again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world.
I am the light of the world. I am the knowledge. I am the word. I am the understanding. Read.
He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life.
Shall have the light of life. All right. From here, if you please, let's go to John chapter 9. Where were we? What did we just read?
8:12.
8 and 12. Yeah, go to John 18.
All right.
And verse 20.
The book of St. John, chapter 8, 18, verse 20. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world.
He did what?
I spake openly to the world.
So he said, I spake openly to the world. Now the word world here, again, can be misconstrued to believe that he's speaking to the whole world. That's not what he's doing. He's speaking to a particular group of people who are that world.
That's right.
All right? He's not speaking to the whole earth. He's only speaking to a group of people who is that world. Read.
I ever taught in the synagogue.
So we now see what world he was speaking openly to. Those that were in the synagogue. Read.
And in the temple.
And those that were in the temple. Read.
Whither the Jews always resort.
See? So now it makes it crystal clear. Where the Jews always resort.
That's right.
Is that what it says, ladies and gentlemen?
That's right.
All right. So now, when we go on, I want to read a little bit more. Read on.
And in secret have I said nothing.
And in secret, he did what?
Have I said nothing.
Have I said nothing?
That's right.
All right. From here, let's go to back to John 12, and let's read verse 35.
The book of St. John, chapter 12, verse 35. Then Yahushua said unto them, Yet a little while
Yet a little while, read.
is the light with you.
There it is. So the light is only with you for a short while. So whilst many of us are playing at this and taking advantage of it, what he's trying to let you know is this. This light has an expiration date. So you think, oh, it's always going to be. It's not. It's not. Yahushua, when he was here with his disciples, he was showing them that I'm only with you for a short while.
That's right.
And after a certain time, I'm not going to be with you. So whilst I'm with you, get everything that you can. So he makes it very clear when he's making the statement here. Read it again, please.
This is St. John, chapter 12, verse 35. Then Yahushua said unto them, Yet a little while is the light with you. Walk while ye have the light.
Walk whilst what?
Walk while ye have the light.
Walk whilst you have the light.
That's right.
Read.
Lest darkness come upon you.
Lest darkness come upon you. The sins of this world.
That's right.
The ignorance of this world. The foolishness of this world. And it will catch you unawares. Because right now, it's being emanated out of every screen that's now showing, the TV, when you go to the cinema. It's being perpetrated and getting into your mind.
Right.
The darkness of this world. Men with men, women with women, men with animals. And now that they're so bold-faced, they've been so emboldened now that they actually show little boys on grown men's laps. It's like they're setting us up for the next phase of their darkness, which is pedophilia.
That's right.
It's madness. Let's read on next verse.
Verse 36. While ye have light, believe in the light.
Whilst you have the light, whilst Yahweh is here, believe in that light. Read.
That ye may be the children of light.
So this light is meant to transfer itself to you.
That's right.
It's like Israel are the only ones. If we could imagine this, if I use this as a scenario, if all of the people of Israel have a match, and the match has the striking head that's on it, when you meet someone who has this light, and it affects you, your light goes on. And as your light goes on, you then meet someone else, and as you strike with them, their light goes on. Now, you may say, but what if some of their lights don't go on? Well, if they have the same striking head, and that head won't light, therefore, someone must be stopping that from happening.
That's right.
The scripture lets us know that the goings of a man, they're all known by the Lord. So when something is happening to you, good or bad, he knows it because he's the one who set it up that way. You know, back in the Christian church, we would say, the devil, the devil, the devil. But did you know that some of the things that the devil was doing because the Most High God told him to do it? So it says there, read it again if you please, the whole.
John chapter 12, verse 36. While ye have light, believe in the light, that ye may be the children of light.
Read.
These things spake Yahweh, and departed, and did hide himself from them.
So it's only for a moment, because it will be hidden from those who do not receive it. And you know that breaks my heart, because definitely when you think about members of your family or friends that you really want to want them to open up to this truth, and they just won't.
That's right.
Let's go from here, if you please, to let's go to Mark chapter 4 and 20. Let's go back there. Let's get back to the crux of this. Let's go back to Mark chapter 4. Let's begin reading, if you please, verse 21.
Mark chapter 4 and verse 21. And he said unto them, Is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick?
All right. So with that, hold that in mind. Let's go to Matthew chapter 5 and 14, please. Matthew chapter 5, and let's read verse 14.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
See? Which city is it speaking about? It's speaking about Israel.
That's right.
Now, to make that even more, read it one more time, then we'll pull up a precept for that.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Cannot be hid. Let's go to Luke chapter 14 and 27.
Luke chapter 14, verse 27. And whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple.
So there are things that you have to be prepared to bear. There are things you have to be prepared to bear. It's not going to be a walk in the park smelling roses all the time. There are some things that's going to be unbearable to you. So you have to be prepared to bear this. Can you take it when everyone turns against you? Can you take it when they start to look at you funny? These are things you have to bear. And then some people are just plain and simply will see you and not like you. Because that anointing that's on you for who you are, it puts some of even our own people off.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've experienced it.
Are you hearing this, Israel?
Yes.
All right, let's go from there, if you please, to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 23. Proverbs 6 and 23. Let's read, sir.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is...
Read that one more time.
Proverbs, chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp.
Is what?
Is a lamp.
Is a lamp. Watch it now.
And the law is light.
So, the commandments is a lamp. The whole purpose of a lamp is to give light. So the commandments keeps you from straying into darkness. So when we follow the commandments, it keeps us right. Now, I know it's said, and even I've used the expression at times, that we say that the commandments is the Holy Ghost. It's not the Holy Ghost, but it helps you in the fact that the Holy Spirit will work with you. It helps you that way. But that's another subject we'll open up sometime down the road. But read it from the top again, sir, if you please.
Proverbs chapter 6, verse 23. For the commandment is a lamp.
Is a lamp, read.
And the law is light.
And the law is light. The law is light. It gives us knowledge. It gives us understanding. Read.
And reproofs.
And it reproofs. It corrects us. Read.
Of instruction.
Give by way of giving us instructions. Read.
Are the way of life.
Are the way of life. So the instructions helps to keep us in the correct way to live our life. Let's back that up some more with David. Let's go to Brother David now. Psalms 119. Psalms 119, 105. All right, let's go.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 105. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet.
That? The word, thy word, is a lamp unto what?
My feet.
My feet, because to keep me from going astray or from stumbling. So the word is a lamp. And we just learned that the commandments is a lamp.
That's right.
Read.
And a light unto my path.
And a light unto my path. You see that? All right. So then in the understanding of that now, let's go back to Proverbs one more time. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and verse 27.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 27. For a whore is a deep ditch.
So a whore is a deep ditch, meaning that there's no end to her behavior. Go on.
And a strange woman is a narrow pit.
Is a narrow pit. A pit that keeps you engulfed. All right? So you just find it hard to get out. All right, so from there, let's go. In fact, let's read on. Read verse 28, please.
Verse 28. She also lieth in wait as for a prey, and increaseth the transgressors among men.
So her whole purpose is to wait to take you down. She layeth in wait as for a prey, and does what?
And increaseth the transgressions among men.
And increase the sins among men. That's powerful. All right, let's go from there back to Mark chapter 5, and let's read 15. Mark 5 and 15.
The book of Mark, chapter 5, verse 15. And they come to Yahushua, and see him that was possessed with the devil, and had the legion sitting and clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid.
They were what?
And they were afraid.
They were afraid. They were afraid. All right, from there, let's go to Luke chapter 19. I'm getting ready to wind up. So Luke 19 and 20.
The book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 20. And another came, saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept laid up in a napkin.
So here is the expression that if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So here the writer is explaining something to us. And another came saying, Lord, behold, here is thy pound, which I have kept and laid up in a napkin. In other words, he's thinking that this is about getting something and hiding it until the day, so that it doesn't appear like you have lost it or misused it. When the whole purpose of you receiving a gift is so that you would do what with the gift? To use it. If you have a talent, use it. Because the talent didn't come by way of you, it came by way of the Father. So he gives them a talent, he gives them a gift, he tells them to go out there and multiply, because if you only know 2 scriptures and you go out there and you exercise those 2 scriptures, guess what? You'll know 3, and then you'll know 4, then you'll know 5. It will continue to increase.
That's true.
And so you are, so the little that he gave you to start you off with is not where you should end up when he comes to make an accounting on you.
That's right.
But watch what happens in verse 21. Read, sir.
Luke chapter 19, verse 21. For I fear thee, because thou art an austere man. Thou takest up that thou laidest not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. And he
Go on.
And he said unto him, Out of thine own mouth will I judge thee, thou wicked servant. Thou knewest that I was an austere man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow.
So what he's letting him know is that you knew what my character was.
Right.
You knew that if I gave you a gift, you're supposed to go and exercise that gift.
That's right.
You're not meant to keep it buried. You're not meant to hide it away in a napkin. That's not what I gave it to you for. I gave it to you to put it on display. And what did you do? You hid it. And because you hid your gift, now you're going to pay the consequence. Then he said, but I knew that you were an austere man. I know you're serious now. But he's trying to let you know, yes, I'm serious, but my seriousness is about what I give to you, use it. He'd rather you use it and lose it than not use it and hide it. Because at least you put in an effort to it. But here, he says,
verse 23.
Verse 22, read that again.
Verse 22. And he said unto him, out of thine own mouth.
So many of our people will be judged and condemned out of their own mouth.
That's right.
Read.
Will I judge thee, thou wicked servant?
You wicked servant. You knew there was a gift on your life. You knew there was a talent that I put in you. But you wanted to play it safe. Because you were afraid. And don't you think that if I gave you something, I'm not going to equip you?
That's right.
That whatever I give you, no harm's going to come to you? But you were afraid because of what people will say. You were afraid of the category that they're going to put you in. But he's trying to let you know, a good leader does not ill-equip his men.
That's right.
Because you want them to survive. You want them to be on good display, because it shows the greatness of your Lord who sent you in the first place.
That's right.
But he says, out of your own mouth will I judge thee. Read.
Thou wicked servant.
So you're wicked. He calls you a wicked minister.
Thou knowest that I was an austere man.
You knew this. This was no surprise. You knew it from the get-go. Read.
Taking up that I laid not down.
In other words, you knew that I take from places where I did not deposit. Why? Because as a king, you don't have to. You send your men to do that. Read.
And reaping that I did not sow. Wherefore, then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required mine own with usury.
So at least I could have got some interest from it if I did it the other way. Jump down to 27.
Verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
So that means you're going to be slain before him. Again, this is not figurative. This is literal. There are people in that time that they will not wish to have to be in any obeisance to the Most High, and therefore they will be brought forward and slaughtered like animals. Let's go, if you please, to back to Mark chapter 4. We'll wind up here. We'll close on that. And verse 21.
The book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 21. And he said unto them, is a candle brought to be put under a bushel or under a bed, and not to be set on a candlestick?
Read on.
For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested.
So there's nothing that is hid. There's nothing that you do that will not come to light. Read.
Neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad.
That it should do what?
That it should come abroad.
That it should come abroad. Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and 5 for me.
1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 5. Therefore, judge nothing before the time.
Read.
Until the Most High come, who both will bring to the light of hidden things of darkness.
Read.
And will make manifest the counsels of the hearts. And then shall every man have praise of the Most High.
There it is. So it's letting you know, therefore, judge nothing before its time. Because everything is going to have its day. Everything. He's making that very, very clear to us. And he says, who both will bring to light the hidden things of darkness and will make manifest the counsel of the hearts, counsel of the minds of people. All of what's in a person's mind will be made clear. So if you have hatred towards your brethren and you think, well, you know, whilst I'm not in that area or not with that person, all is good. The Most High is saying that if you have it in your heart, you're going to be judged for it. Because this is your own people.
In verse 5, when it says, who both will bring to light, so it's showing you that Israel, the judges will be with will be with Yahushua to judge the darkness.
Correct. Correct. From there, let's jump back to Mark.
Yes, sir.
Chapter 21 and verse 23.
Mark chapter 4, verse 23. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear.
So if you have an ear, listen up. Read.
And he said unto them, take heed.
Notice what he said. Do what?
Take heed.
Take heed. Read.
What ye hear.
When you hear this, listen. Listen. Sister, brother, listen.
That's right.
Read.
With what measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you, and unto you that hear shall more be given.
Read.
For he that hath, to him shall be given.
Read.
And to he that have not, from him shall be taken, even that which he hath.
There it is. Me. It's as clear as crystal there. As clear as crystal.
That's right.
All right. Yes, we'll stop there. I'm tempted to go into the next one, but 26, but we'll stop
Right.
there. All right. Any questions from any of our brothers or sisters? Any questions? All right. So for those of you online, again, we thank you for taking time to log into our teaching on Wednesday night here at the New Milleneumn City Church. We thank you for your support. Continue to hold us in prayer as we will hold you. We bid you shalom.
Shalom.